So I'll just do a quick example on using two-dimensional grids. This is example 7 in the textbook, if you want to have a look. So the question says that two square spinners, each with 1, 2, 3, and 4 on their edges, are twirled simultaneously. So we spin these two things, they each land on a side, and they could either land on 1, 2, 3, or 4. So our possible results are 1, 2, 3, and 4 for each spinner. So the first thing is to draw a two-dimensional grid of the possible outcomes. So for this two-dimensional grid, we have two sets of axes. So we have our vertical one here and our horizontal one here. And then we just simply list the different outcomes for each spinner on each axis. So we'll say this is spinner 1, and you could get a 1, a 2, a 3, or a 4. This is spinner 2, you get 1, 2, 3, or 4. And now what happens is, if we were to spin both of these spinners, we could either get a 1 and a 1, a 2 and a 1, a 3 and a 1, a 4 and a 1, or we could get a 1 and a 2, and so on. So each of these dots represents a different outcome. And so it's representing what we get on each spinner. So once I've filled that in, we have a total of 16 dots. That means there's 16 different outcomes here. There's our two-dimensional grid. Next, we are asked, what is the probability of getting a 3 with each spinner? So what we can do here is now look for the dot that represents getting a 3 on both spinners. So if I go along here at spinner 1, here's our 3. Now I go up, and here's our other 3. So this corresponds to getting a 3 with spinner 1 and a 3 with spinner 2. Now there's only one dot out of these 16 dots where we get a 3 and a 3. So that means we have a 1 in 16 chance of getting a 3 and a 3. Okay, next bit. Let's erase that. The next question is what's the probability of getting a 3 and a 1? Well, I can have a look. I can go, okay, probability of getting a 3 and a 1. Well, here's one way to get a 3 and a 1. And here's another way to get a 3 and a 1. So what we need to do now is work out this probability. So we've got 2 different ways of getting that out of 16, so 2 out of 16. Now you'll also notice that another way to do this is by adding these probabilities together of getting a 1 out of 16 and 1 out of 16. That will equal our 2 out of 16. But the main thing is, just when you get these questions, just mark all the dots that satisfy whatever condition it is. So this one is, getting a 3 and a 1. Count how many of them you've marked. And then that number of how many you've marked, so 2, out of the total number of dots, is your probability for that happening. So another question is, what is the probability of getting an even result with each spinner? So that means we have to look at all the outcomes where both spinners have got an equal result. So 2 and a 2, a 2 and a 4. Sorry, I'll use a different color. Here we are. 2 and a 4, 2 and a 2, 4 and a 2, and a 4 and a 4. So for the green ones, we have 4 out of 16 of the dots marked. And that's your answer. Probability of getting 2 even. 4 out of 16. Now you could simplify that and go 1 out of 4. That's all there is to it. Draw your grid, mark all the outcomes, and then you're given a condition, like we had, 2 even outcomes. Mark all them on your grid, count how many you've marked. So we've marked 4. Count how many there are in total, 16, 4 out of 16.